The rain fell heavily on the rusty rooftops of Adebayo Street, washing dirty water into the cracked gutters as people hurried home before the flood became worse. At the far end of the street stood a small wooden house that looked like it could collapse at any moment. Inside that house, 17-year-old Daniel sat beside a weak lantern, staring at an old laptop that barely worked. The screen flickered every few seconds. The keyboard was missing letters. But Daniel looked at it like it was treasure, because to him it was. Outside, voices echoed through the street. "Daniel," someone shouted. "Come and help your mother carry the tomatoes." Another voice laughed. "Leave him. Future billionaire is busy pressing computer." The street burst into laughter. Daniel lowered his head quietly. He was used to it. Used to the mockery. Used to the disrespect. Used to people acting like dreams only belonged to rich children. His mother, Grace, entered the room with a tired smile. Her wrapper was soaked from the rain, and her hands smelled of pepper and onions from the roadside stall where she sold food every day. "You haven't eaten," she said softly. "I'm not hungry." "That's what you said yesterday." Daniel forced a smile. "I'll eat later, Mama." Grace looked at the old laptop. "You're still working on that thing? One day it'll change our lives." She smiled again, though deep inside, she didn't know whether to believe him anymore. Not because she lacked faith in her son, but because poverty had a way of killing hope slowly. Very slowly. Years earlier, Daniel's father had died after a construction accident. No compensation. No justice. Nothing. After that, life became cruel. Grace started selling rice and stew by the roadside just to survive. Daniel often skipped school because there was no money for transport or books. But no matter how hard life became, he loved technology. Whenever electricity came, he would rush to charge the old laptop someone had thrown away years earlier. He taught himself everything through free internet cafes and borrowed Wi-Fi. Programming, design, business, marketing. While other boys played football outside, Daniel sat alone learning how the world worked. People thought he was strange, even lazy, especially Kola. Kola was Daniel's childhood friend. Tall, confident, funny, the kind of person everybody liked instantly. Unlike Daniel, Kola understood how to make people laugh, and he never missed an opportunity to embarrass him. One afternoon, Daniel walked into a small gathering near the street shop. Several young men were discussing jobs. "There's a new factory hiring," one said, "but they need experience." Another sighed. "No connections, no job." Kola noticed Daniel approaching. CEO is here," he shouted dramatically. Everyone laughed. Kola pointed at Daniel's old shoes. "See this one? You can't even buy new slippers, but you want to become a tech boss." More laughter. Daniel stayed calm. "I'm working on something." Kola smirked. "You've been working on something for years." The group burst into louder laughter. "You know what your problem is?" Kola continued. "You dream too much." Daniel looked at him quietly. "One day those dreams will feed people." Kola shook his head. "No, Daniel. Dreams don't feed people. Money does." That night, Daniel sat outside staring at the stars while mosquitoes buzzed around him. His mother sat beside him. "You should ignore them," she whispered. "I try." "You know why people mock dreamers?" Daniel looked at her. "Because they can't see what the dreamer sees." For the first time that week, Daniel smiled. Months passed. Things became worse. Their landlord threatened to throw them out. Grace became sick from stress and exhaustion. And Daniel still couldn't find a stable job. Every company rejected him. No degree. No experience. No vacancy. Sometimes he walked for hours searching for opportunities. Nothing. One afternoon, after another rejection, Daniel sat under a bridge in silence. Cars rushed past. People moved on with their lives. But Daniel felt stuck, like the world had forgotten him. Then an old man sat beside him. "You look like someone carrying the whole world." Daniel said nothing. The old man smiled. "Life is beating you." Daniel laughed bitterly. "Life is destroying me." The old man nodded slowly. "Good." Daniel frowned. "Good. Yes. Because pressure creates strength." Daniel stared at him. "I don't understand." The old man pointed at the city. "The people you admire today suffered yesterday." He leaned closer. "The world only respects results." Those words hit Daniel deeply. The old man stood up. "Don't stop." And then he walked away. Daniel never saw him again. But those words changed everything. That night, Daniel made a decision. If nobody would hire him, he would build something himself. For months, he barely slept. He started creating a digital platform that helped small businesses advertise online cheaply. Restaurants, tailors, barbers, street vendors. He believed millions of struggling businesses needed visibility. Kola discovered the idea one evening. This is actually smart, he admitted. Daniel smiled. For real? Yeah. For the first time in years, Daniel felt respected. So he trusted him. Too much. Days later, Kola disappeared. Then something shocking happened. A wealthy businessman announced a new startup with the exact same idea Daniel had shared. The face promoting it publicly? Kola. Daniel froze when he saw the online video. His chest tightened. His hands trembled. The betrayal broke him completely. Kola had stolen everything. The concepts, the plans, even the name. And because Kola had investors and connections, the company exploded immediately. Daniel was left with nothing. Nobody believed him. Nobody cared. People on the street mocked him harder now. See your destiny. Your friend succeeded while you're still dreaming. Even his landlord insulted him openly. One night, Grace found Daniel crying silently in the dark. Mama, maybe they were right about me. She sat beside him immediately. No, I failed. No, he stole everything. Grace held his face gently. Listen to me carefully. Tears rolled down her cheeks. You are not finished. Daniel broke down completely. For the next year, he disappeared from the neighborhood. People assumed he had given up. Some said he became a bus conductor. Others claimed he joined internet fraud. Nobody knew the truth. But far away in another city, Daniel started over from scratch. He worked multiple jobs. Cleaner by day, security guard at night, freelance programmer whenever possible. He saved every little amount. He learned constantly. Slowly, he rebuilt his platform. But this time, bigger, smarter, stronger. Years passed. And quietly, Daniel's company began growing internationally. Small businesses across Africa started using it. Then companies in America noticed the system. Investors became interested. Within a few years, Daniel became the founder of one of the fastest growing digital business platforms in the world. But nobody back home knew. Until the black SUVs arrived. The entire neighborhood gathered outside in confusion. Luxury cars on Adebayo Street looked unreal. Children ran after them shouting excitedly. People peeked through windows. Then the car door opened, and Daniel stepped out. The street went silent instantly. Expensive suit, security guards, confidence, but the same eyes. The same Daniel they once mocked. An old woman nearly dropped the bucket she was carrying. Hi, is that Daniel? Whispers spread everywhere. No way. That poor boy. Cola's friend. Grace walked out slowly from the house. When she saw her son, tears filled her eyes immediately. Daniel hugged her tightly. We made it, Mama. The entire street watched in shock. Some people who once insulted him suddenly smiled nervously. Others avoided eye contact completely. Then Daniel did something nobody expected. He announced plans to build a massive technology training center in the community. Free education, free internet access, scholarships, jobs. Suddenly, the same people who mocked him depended on him for opportunities. The boy everyone laughed at had become the owner of their future. Applications flooded in immediately. Young people lined up daily. Parents begged for slots for their children. Even local leaders who once ignored Grace now respected her publicly. But one person stayed hidden. Kola. His company had collapsed after corruption scandals and bad management. The investors abandoned him. Debt consumed everything. One evening, Kola appeared at Daniel's office unexpectedly. He looked older, broken, ashamed. Daniel stared silently. Kola lowered his head. I know I don't deserve your help. Daniel said nothing. My daughter is sick, Kola whispered. I can't afford the surgery. The room became painfully quiet. Years of betrayal echoed in Daniel's mind. The humiliation, the suffering, the nights of hunger, the mockery. Kola began crying. I destroyed your life. Daniel looked out the window for a long moment. Then finally, he spoke. You didn't destroy my life. Kola looked up slowly. You redirected it. Daniel walked to his desk and signed a document. The surgery will be paid for. Kola stared at him in shock. Why? Daniel looked at him calmly. Because if I become cruel after success, then poverty taught me nothing. Kola broke down completely. That story spread everywhere. Not because Daniel became rich, but because he chose mercy when revenge was easier. Years later, the Technology Center became one of the biggest youth empowerment projects in the country. Thousands of young people learned digital skills there. Many escaped poverty. Many started businesses. Many changed their families forever. And above the entrance of the building stood a giant inscription. The world only respects results. Whenever students asked Daniel how he survived rejection, betrayal, and mockery, he always gave the same answer. The people who laugh at your dreams today may depend on your success tomorrow. And every time he said it, the room fell silent.